Ladies and gentlemen, germ jokes, things of that nature. Another episode of Somebody Gotta Say It. I'm gonna let my cousin go on and lead it off, and we're gonna go from there.
What's cracking? It's your boy Lanye, 24 years free. I'm somewhere on the internet, you'll find it. You know, everything is happening so fast in life, you know what I'm saying? The prosecution is rested on Diddy's case, and the defense, I think they put their case on for like 20 minutes or something. It was ridiculous. No witnesses. Diddy didn't testify on his own behalf. But the newest update is that the federal government dropped all state charges. He had New York charges against him, some sort of charges that the state could have picked up. Would have been towards the state sentence. Those were dropped. LA's state charges were dropped. So now he only has federal charges that he's facing. All of those are still racketeering and all that things we talked about. But now he's in that position to, if Trump were to ever pardon him, he could actually do that now. Because if Trump were to try to pardon him with those other charges on him, he would have pardoned him similar to Larry Hoover. Somebody Trump just gave a pardon to, but it made very little sense because as soon as he gave him that pardon, now he got to do 300 years in the state or something like that. So with that said, now in the event that Donald Trump pardons P. Diddy, he would be scot-free in the event he pardons. I don't even know if that's the case or not, but yeah, that's the latest, that they dropped the New York state charges and they dropped the LA state charges. The federal government dropped it, which doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get a pardon. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get acquitted or nothing like that. He can still be found guilty and going to federal prison for life, but it leaves that door open for the possibility of Trump pardon. So that was all about it.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Like I said, I don't stay all the way up on all of the world affairs or, affairs going on in my country. That's crazy to know that all those other charges were dropped. So now pretty much all you got to worry about is a fair case, and, verdict is going to be coming soon or whatever. Honestly, felt that the defense should have put a few witnesses up on the stand, or, just somebody to kind of negate everything that was said by the prosecution. But I guess they feel, from what I'm hearing, is the prosecution don't have a case anyway, so what are we even, bringing, character witnesses or any witnesses dealing with the defense? We are confident that, those charges weren't proven, so we don't even need to go, put anybody up on the stand. I guess they know what they're doing, you know what I'm saying? I think they said, each lawyer getting $10 million. I don't know, but this is, the rumors that you're hearing or whatever. Every lawyer is getting $10 million, then I guess they know what the hell they're doing. And I'm being honest with you, the charges are going to be worded, and if you're going by, what's on the paper, yeah, he will be guilty. But I think there's going to be at least one or two jurors who say, regardless to what this paper says, what I'm looking at is I've seen a bunch of perjury take place. That's first off. And if everybody's stories just happened to them, why do you get caught up in 13 lies like a Don Lewis or whatever the case may be, if your story is what it's supposed to be? So I think a few people are going to say what they have him charged for, I can't know. Even though I know in this paper it says, if so-and-so and such and such and such and such and such and such, the testimony we looked at, in real time with our eyes and ears, yeah, all that was met. But deep down, is this what really RICO is? Because he never profited anything. And then you have even people like the drug mule. You got caught with 0.7 grams of Tussie pink cocaine. All the testimony you gave probably was never over $5,000 worth of drugs at one time. And the one time that it was $5,000, $3,400 of it was weed. So I think a few people are going to say, that right there makes me say, I can't give him the guilty verdict. So we'll see where it goes from there. But I'm just saying, if I was a juror and I listened to this trial from the beginning to the end, there would be no way that I could find him guilty on the moral stance, not on what the technical paper is going to say. Because like I said, if they got to go by what the judge said on the technical paper, yeah, he's going to be guilty in all of those charges. But morally, everybody knows it's a little deeper than just RICO shit. I'm gonna let him go because I see him smiling.
Yeah. You be looking out for your jury papers. They really gonna go select you over. No. seriously, he's absolutely right. You know, when you're in these jury situations, you're seeing something and you have something in your gumption in your heart, right? And you think that that's what's the verdict should be based on, but it's not. It's just the gumption in your heart, and you use that gumption to try to sway your decision in this particular case in front of you. But the way jury instructions actually work and the way they paint it out to be, your unction don't even have a place in regards to if this person can get off or not. So they paint you in the corner. So I'm just giving you an example. They'll say something to the effect of, sure, this person may have not done the charges that are in front of him. And that is a possibility that you might think that that's the case. But the only thing you need to decide was, did he have on a green shirt that day and was he there? We're not talking about if he did not. Is he guilty of having on a green shirt and was he there? Literally, these are the kind of games they play in jury instructions. So you're knowing that they're going to take your word and say, well, that ain't got nothing to do with his guilt. Right? We didn't ask you what had nothing to do with his guilt. We just asked you if he had on the green shirt and was he there that day. And then all of the trial have cemented that he had on the green shirt and he was there that day. And there's no way for you to get out of saying guilty for those reasons alone. And then they just throw the book at him later on. You see what I'm saying? They don't give you a lot of room to be like, I don't care what y'all say, I don't think he did it. That's just that's not how reality works in courtrooms these days.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I think he's going to be found guilty on something. I don't think he's going to be found guilty on whatever. I mean, because, you listen to certain people, and when they break down prostitution and sex trafficking, you kind of be undecided on this particular trial and the particular incidences that took place. Is it sex trafficking? But if you're going by what they say sex trafficking or prostitution is, it's almost slam dunk, with that. Money was given for sex, whether one person was with it or whether both of them was with it. Some prostitution on paper took place. But the other end of it is like I'm not gonna call them sex workers, the entertainment guys. Like they say, these are legitimate companies. We're coming with entertainment. Now, if the woman want to get it in, we can make that happen too. But the whole angle of coming is to flaunt my muscles and grind and all that. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're bringing me here for. But like one of the I can't call them ex-workers. Not say, I bet I need to you gotta be careful with some of the words that we use or whatever the case may be. But like some of them said, they would have broke Cassie off for free. Who wouldn't want to, break somebody off? Light skin, good hair, fine, kind of in the industry, you know what I'm saying? So, like they were saying, I can come and I'm going to get paid whatever my rate is regardless. If I don't break them off, I'm going to still get paid that particular amount of money. If I do break them off, I'm going to still make that particular money. So it's not like I'm coming in where you flying me in or you paying me to come break you off. You fly me in or bring me in for the adult entertainment aspect of it. But if we digging each other and want to break each other off, we're two grown-ups, we can do that. So those be just the tricky little things about it where it's like you're going to have one juror or two jurors who feels that same way, where they like, I know what this judge said on this paper, but come on here. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it go. You know what I'm saying?
We will see how, and I will say this too, as guilty as I believe that they have already portrayed Sean Combs to be, and I'm pretty sure they'll throw some kind of book at him. There is still the possibility of pardon, obviously. But Trump got so much on his plate right now, I don't know that that's something that's he would even entertain. Plus there's a huge story and footage out there, Don Jr., who at the time, I believe, what that girl from Danny Kane with the green eyes, hazel eyes, Aubrey O'Day. Aubrey O'Day was friends with Don Jr.'s girl at the time, way back in New York, in the 90s and 2000s or whatever. And Aubrey O'Day was telling Don Jr.'s girl some of the intimate P. Diddy type of stories that we all heard about in the press and in the court transcripts. So, ironically, the guy who he would, the family he would need to get a pardon from already have a kind of a synopsis of what kind of get down this dude is on. So I don't know if that necessarily is going to help his pardon situation. But in the light of the Epsteins and all of these sorts of who knows, because if you notice, nobody came out for his defense. I think Kanye West, or Ye as he's going by now, is the only person who physically, other than some people put a couple of statements out, but nobody. It reminds me of those, it reminded me of those in the past. We just had some riots in LA over the ICE raids. It reminded me of those ice raids. All of the Mexicans was out there. Not one Mexican celebrity had shit to say. No Selma Hayek up in this motherfucker. What's the dude, American Me?
Oh, Edward Van Hummel?
Almost, you know what I'm saying? Leguizamo. What's the dude that played the president in the play, Alexander Hamilton? You know, very famous Hispanics. Not one of them motherfuckers said nothing. That's just crazy to me. That's just absolutely boggles me. I find that the Hispanic with any sort of power and a voice and a platform, I told you one of those self-driving cars gonna come out with it. Anybody with a platform like that would have had something to say about that. None of them. It's just like similar to the Diddy thing. You see what I'm saying? And ironically, just like that with Donald Trump and attacked Iran. Not a Republican nowhere got nothing bad to say. So it's just crazy when people get silent on stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see if he can find a way to get out of this.
Yeah, and I know they filed, what is it called? Article 29 or something like that, which is pretty much a standard thing that every good lawyer is supposed to do, pretty much saying, we don't even need no jury, you know, saying yay or nay. Judge, from what you've seen, you know that this wasn't enough evidence, so we want to get the acquittal, you know, now, which we already know this judge right here. In my eyes, he hasn't been giving Diddy no type of leeway, so you know we had these juries sit here all this time, and I'm gonna say, you're not guilty, and we just leave it at that. So we know that's not going to happen, but you know, that's the latest that I heard, that they was filing some type of something, 29, that's all I remember.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, they're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to represent Mr. Combs. So of course they need to throw everything they can at the wall. They need to try every, you know, this should be a dismissal. We should get rid of these juries. Anything that they can try, mistrials, anything, in order to get this guy off, you would think that they would try. So I don't fault them for trying it. Has it been a mistrial? No. Has it been enough to not convict him? No. Is he overcharged and he's over, you know, the charge is astronomical for his situation? Probably. Is he the first time to have it too? Nope. Is he the last person? Nope. That's what they do. They throw everything at you and then whittle down. And I'm assuming that's why they whittle down some of those state charges. They whittle down some of the charges we can get you on this, but these we might have to be wobbly on as far as the jury's concerned. And that's probably what's gonna happen. We'll see.
And we'll see, you know. None of us know because we are not that jury. So I'm still on my free Diddy, you know what I'm saying? Because this is some BS. To try to have a person locked away for, if you really put it all in perspective, him just being a freak. And women, which has always been a part of the groupie power thing, they want it to be down. And whatever way I gotta be down, I'm gonna be down. Whether it's, you know, degrade to myself or whatever, because of text, but you can't get around. You know, text say this, then how is what you up here for even possible? But we'll see. You know, like I said, I think at least one juror is gonna be like, nah, fuck all this. I'm not going for the okie doke. I've seen it happen too many times. And then, like you said, certain people always, when they think of RICO, they're gonna always think of gangster lifestyle, underworld, mob bosses, doing wrong for profit, you know, the real bribery, extortion, and all the rest of that. So some of them are gonna have in their head, this is not enough, in my eyes, to be what's considered RICO charges. You know what I'm saying? And even though, like I said, you know, jury instructions are going to say this, they're gonna say, I didn't see any profit. I didn't see the threats. Yeah, it was testified that he did threats on a few things. But I'm talking about that, nigga, if you don't pay us $1,000 a month, you ain't gonna have no business. That type of stuff. That's what I consider RICO, and I didn't see any of that. So I'm going to have to say nay on this one.
And I gotta hit him with a rebuttal on this one because, again, as great as we would like the world to work a certain way, that's just not how the world works. And in regards to jury instruction, is really not how the world works. So let's say a jury in their mind had exactly what he's saying in their mind, right? I'm not convinced. None of what I've seen is RICO. None of what I've seen is drug trafficking or sexual trafficking. None of what I've seen is that. He can have that in his heart to feel that way in the jury instruction room, right? But then the jury instructions come and say, on the date, the extra transcripts for you to reread it if you don't remember. On the date of August 20th of this year, Mr. Combs asked KK, his lieutenant in charge of his business affairs, to wire this amount of money from this account to that account, or to have that money sent over there. And it's gonna be obviously right on there where it says KK wired this and that's right. And then they're gonna say, yes or no, did he do that? Yes. Bam. That right there is how to get all of the emotions of all of the other stuff that I do. All they have to do is really be guilty of two things. All they have to do is really be guilty. He's guilty of probably way more than two things. So that's how they're gonna get it. Now, to answer your point though, there's other juries like himself. He's clearly a jury, he's just not on the stand. He's just not in the, jury box. But his opinion matters. And guess who else is in the jury box? Donald Trump might be in the jury box to some degree. He might be following. He might have somebody who's watching. And they might not be convinced that it's not enough. You see what I'm saying? So even if he is convicted, this might be what he gets some get back in regards to somebody in power saying, I don't think they did you. I don't think they did all of that. So I'm going to swipe that. He did it with January 6th, and them people was clearly guilty of something.
I mean, god damn. You motherfuckers just straight ran up to some shit. I'm gonna stick with Free Diddy. We're gonna see what happens. I'm praying for the best for you, bro. The feds are no motherfucking joke, so.
No joke. No, and they don't lose cases.
So.
You're pretty disgusting as a person in regards to some of the ways you get down. But that's not necessarily a crime. There's a bunch of disgusting people out here.
And I'm gonna say that part, which ain't got nothing to do with his case. But of all the stuff he was accused of, you remember the hundreds of lawsuits, Tony Busby and the hotline and the, like I said, all the Usher rumors and the Justin Bieber rumors and the Meek Mill rumors and the him and Denzel,
some of those
8-year-olds and all the rest of this, what was brought up in court, it was almost a dud. It's almost like, damn, this is your sex life? This is boring. Almost compared to what we thought we were gonna hear. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you like sitting up in the cut, playing with yourself, one of your groupies, that's what we call all of them, is getting broke off. To go from rumors of you cornering your security, remember, they're supposed to be bigger, stronger, and more violent than you because they are protecting you. And you have enough mild power or mind control to say, I'm pulling my wee-wee out and you finna suck it. But just the big buff security, and you get punked like that being security, come on, man. But all those cases were thrown out. But just the fact, of all of the stuff that was said, and none of it was brought up in court. So from what the facts we heard, it was almost a boring sex life compared to what we thought we were gonna hear. You know what I'm saying? Even though in the average world, that's gross than the MF to be sitting up in the cut, wing acting off wide. But the other part about it is all of the male entertainment never said that Diddy tried to have sex with them. He just got off on seeing that, and then after he got off on that, he took the broad in the room and then broke her off. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I know that ain't gonna sway the jury at all, but what we thought we was gonna hear and what we thought, he was, a lot of it was just BS because of just the folklore of, oh boy, you can almost say anything and it can stick now, you know what I'm saying?
So clearly he's Free Diddy camp, so there's no convincing that. You know what I'm saying? They got people in the MAGA camp, so I get it. When you're your camp, you're your camp. But I just want to say this. A lot of this stuff is far bigger than Diddy or any of these, because a lot of this stuff is just straight karma. It's straight spiritual, reaping what you sow. He ain't the first person to get drunk with ego and celebrity and think that they rule the world. So that goes without saying that some of this that's happened to him, he brought on himself. Whether it's all true or not, that's somewhat a side subject. Because you got a lot of stuff that he done, and we know he done. We know he done stuff that's just, that's not no big thing. That's not Rico. Bust the dude in the head with the bottle from years ago, and it's just tons and tons of stuff that we know he done, right? And if these things alone is the reason why the karma is caught up. These things alone are the reason why the karma comes up. Now, whether they throw in a book at him that's not the book he deserved to get thrown at him, he deserved to get a book thrown at him. That's the karma of it all. There's tons and tons of testimony, people saying he worked over there. Whether he should get this much sentence for that, that's the whole nother conversation. What his punishment should be, again, another conversation. But his punishment is coming, and the universe decides how it's going to punish him.
Yeah, and I will agree to that too. Where if he's out there doing wrong, it's going to catch up to you one way or the other.
Dark will come to the light.
If we're being technical, like I said, what he's being charged for, the testimony don't add up to it. Like I said, on paper, wherever way I gotta get you, we're gonna get you. Yeah, that adds up because the karma is gonna come however it's gonna come. There is no, you do this, so you're gonna get karma in that way. You break a girl heart, you're gonna get your heart broke. No, you do wrong and then a lot of wrong, there is no limit or way that karma gonna come back to you, but it's gonna come back to you. But almost the tick for tat thing, what you done is not what they trying to bury you for. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, one thing always is gonna always be part of Rico is for profit. Diddy didn't profit. If anything, he tricked. He gave money away. So, and that's like gangs too. This is for profit. When we go jack somebody, that's for profit. That's for our enterprise. When we shake down MFers, when you better check in or this, all that's for profit. When I'm doing what is legal, cuckold or whatever that name is, when men like seeing they women get broke the F off, is that Rico? Like, really, you guys? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, on somebody's paper they try to get you, yeah. But in real life, is that Rico? You know what I'm saying? Rico is enterprises that are geared towards one thing or another thing to make a profit. Bro did not profit off of anything. You know what I'm saying? So, but back to the whole point, you gotta pay for your actions, and however you gotta pay for them, you gotta pay for them. I'm a big believer in that. If I was on the jury, it couldn't be no Rico in my eyes. I would have to be that one where it's like, no, you know what I'm saying? But we gonna see, you know what I'm saying? We gonna see, you know what I'm saying?
We definitely gonna see.
I'm hoping for a OJ verdict, you know.
Imagine that.
From, like I said, what I've seen and the testimony that I've heard. Listen, when you got 5, 6, 7 of your witnesses and all of them have lied on the stand, it makes it extremely hard to believe it. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna see. We're gonna sign off, you know what I'm saying, to another episode coming Saturday, or whatever the case may be. Once again, bros a creep, all that good stuff. But with the government, feds, or white folks, or the man, whoever, real people see what the fuck's going on. It's bigger than, you know, a few stumps in a hallway with a towel around you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's bigger than that. And if you notice, there ain't no list came out of who was on them tapes, just like the Epstein's list didn't come out. So it's bigger than that, you know, and he could just be a scapegoat to shut up a whole industry of stuff. But was he innocent? Probably not. Probably not. Is he like a wrong place at the wrong time, just an innocent man caught him this? But, you know, when you play around with dirt, you get mud.
Pretty much. Yeah. All right, we signing on off. Somebody gotta say it. Lanye, 24 years free. Downtown Jimbo Brown. We out.
Hit the thumbs up.
Yeah, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff.